Hello and welcome to the Humble Seer. So I am going to do a read on these four people here. And what I've decided to do is just a reading on all of them because they're all related. It says four current and former Harris County sheriff's officers have died by, taking their own life in the past few weeks. So what I do know is that they didn't take their own life. And I'm not going to necessarily get into how their lives were taken or how, they quote unquote took their lives, but I'm going to get more into why this happened. And I know what I do know is that they knew and saw too much. Now, some of them were part of it, okay? And some it's just like they walked in on it, okay? So I was pointing at the different characters. So if you're listening, you may want to look at who I was pointing at. So what I'm going to do first is just draw one of my crime cards, and we'll get some insight. But like I say, it's about knowing and seeing too much, and we all understand what that is. So let's pull some of these cards here, and we'll lay a foundation, and then I'll pull a few tarot cards and do a little clarifying. Okay. All right. Let's get six. I'm being drawn to get six of these. Two, three, four. I get just organized crime is what I get. I get organized criminal activity that some were benefiting from, okay? And you would be able to look at their bank account, but I get for some, as it relates to their bank account, you wouldn't find it like in their personal, just regular, where they may get their direct deposit. You wouldn't find it in that account. For some, you might find it in like another woman's account, things like that. So the money that they benefited from through this organized criminal activity, which we may get into here with the cards that I've pulled, that money would have gone into another account. But I'm getting that some of it would have been transferred into their regular account. So it's like follow the money, but it wouldn't be too difficult to do that. Okay, so we have accident. Well, what I get is it was like things that were considered accidents or labeled as, or like the conclusion after the investigation, oh, this was an accident. This wasn't foul play. I get that those are just some of the things like, oh, there's no need to investigate this any further. But they would have been a part of that and unbeknownst to them. But for some, like this individual here, but they would just be applying a lot of pressure for that. Okay, and then we have this card here, which is just coming out to say that this was not. I mean, this is what is claimed to be, but it was not. They did not take their own lives. I get. Okay, then we have debt. And I get for some, what I get for that is like greed, doing too much, going to too many places, getting too many things. But in this person's case, like they may get things, but it would be at another woman's home, toys and things, toys could be like a motorcycle, things like that. Okay, now we have caregiver. Look to the parents because the parents know more. And I get that, like in the home of a parent, you would find information like this person here, you would find information about everything that transpired, everything that it's almost like it would be a journal or information that would, um, you know, lead you to other places, because it's like that tree that has obviously branches, and the branches go everywhere. And all of this is throughout the department. But there are plenty of people that don't have an awareness of what is going on. And then we have social media, because I get that there are indicators of this. And I just get a lot of criminal activity. I mean, I'm just going to call it the way I see it. I see a lot of criminal activity. And this is Harris County Sheriff's Office, right? I just get a lot of criminality. And it reaches to the highest levels, is what I get. And you would see some of that in that social media. We have burial. And you see that's a skeleton, because what I get is, and the criminal activity is everything from drugs to trafficking to smuggling to crossing of borders to I get gun running, things like, it's all of that. It's anything that you can conceive of is happening. And this card has many, many meanings. Burial of crimes, burial of bodies, because people have lost their lives due to all of this. Let's get a tarot card to see if there's anything that the tarot cards want to tell us. But I get that the reason for the loss of life is, let's get 3 tarot cards. Okay, we'll start with 1 is what I'm getting, and then we'll branch out from there. Okay, the High Priestess. Okay, the High Priestess brings knowledge. The High Priestess is, emotional. They're stable. Let's pull a couple of clarifiers for that. The High Priestess is truthful, and I get that it's just somebody that's bringing the truth, which is probably me in this situation. But there could be other people that are also bringing truth to this. The High Priestess kicks it off, okay? Let's get 1 card first to clarify the High Priestess. Okay, strength. Because it takes strength to deliver this information. It's not something that just anybody's going to want to do. And that also relates to the people out in the world, because there are a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot of people that know about all of this. And it'll start to unravel. We pulled the High Priestess again. The High Priestess brings you truth. So go with what the High Priestess. I'm going to pull some more of these. High Priestess, clarifying strength in the High Priestess. Takes strength and courage to do this, okay? All right, that just flew out. Let's see what that was. Oh, that's 2 that flew out. Desert and surveillance. Bodies are buried in the desert. Likely you won't uncover them, but some you will. And surveillance. I get that there has been surveillance of this. Like, what I get is some of their crimes were on video. And these can be found. It's like some of their crimes were on video. They could be hidden. They could be hidden up in the ceiling. Like, how there's those when you, it's like those panels. I can't think of a better word to describe it, on the ceiling. I don't know if you would call them panels, but you know how they're white and they're sectioned off, and you can push up. You can push the panel up and over, and there's things. It's like hidden like that, okay? And crimes that these people committed, because I get there were crimes committed, are on some sort of videotape, some sort of surveillance tape. Interesting. But some things were set ablaze after it was all said and done. They were literally set on fire. And if you like, if around the time that these people lost their lives, you would have seen certain people setting fires, like having an excuse to have a bonfire, or having an excuse for burning something in a barrel, or being somebody on passing by could see a fire. Okay. They didn't care, because what was most important was what's in the barrel. It doesn't matter if you say, oh, I saw so-and-so around this time burning something in their backyard. Okay, well, it might for a smart person, the radar might go off. But for just everyday people, maybe not. But I get that people saw that. Oh, I'm going to take that one. I just saw it. And it was just as I was, I'm going to pull it out because it said grab me, but I moved too fast. So I'm going to find it. And because it's simple, but not. Okay. So bear with me. I'm going to find that flipping card. Wow, I didn't know it was so far down in the... There it is. Organized crime. Because it's nothing but organized crime. And the people at the top, it's the people at the top. Whoever you would think would be at the top. Obviously, people above them. But, these people participated in some, like her, just happened upon it, or they were partnered up with somebody that was doing it, because it runs rampant. Okay, let's get 3 more of these and then we'll close this out. So we know for a fact that it's organized crime within this department, within this organization. We know that, okay? Serial killer. I'll come back to talk that. Wooded area. Celebrity. Now, let me talk about this celebrity card, because when I saw it, it was like, this card is going to come out. This card is important. So I'm going to sit that one aside, and I'm going to... Okay, so now serial killer, I just use these words separately, because when we think of serial killer, we think of the Happy Face Killer, or Ted Bundy, or John Wayne Gacy, and they were all serial killers. But what did they have in common? They killed multiple people, okay? And that's why they're given this title of serial killer. But serial killer can be it could be somebody that just is, kills multiple people for whatever reason. When we think about serial killers, we think they have victims and specific people that, they want to maybe have romance with them, and then they kill them. Okay, but in this instance, they're serial killer, but they may not even have an understanding of who they're taking out. They're just getting the order to do that. And so it would be somebody serial, because they have a history of killing multiple people. They're serial at it, right? And they're killers. Wooded area, people are taken into wooded areas, because this is organized crime. And with organized crime, you always have those elements. You always have, drugs, prostitution, different ways to make money. And I would suggest that whatever you can think of, just think of different things that you would think are crimes that you would bring in money for. And this is what was going on. And I get that there is somebody who is of the living who would be considered a celebrity, okay, that this goes to, that they know about, and it is a man. and they know all about what's happening, and they're considered a celebrity in their town. Celebrity is just somebody well known in my definition. Celebrity is somebody that when you walk into the local grocery store, people are like, oh, they may be aghast, like, oh, they're so and so. It's like every time they have that energy about them. You can have negative. I really think that celebrity energy is negative. It's negative energy. Okay. Because I just get that. But the person would be considered a celebrity. It's a male. I get it's a white male in their late 50s to 60s. Glasses, riding a motorcycle, things like that. And it reaches the top. So I don't think there's a whole lot more to say. Let's just pull, I'm going to pull one final card here to close it out. What do the cards want to tell us to close this reading out? So we know it's organized crimes. We know that many of these people were involved. They saw too much, okay? Oh, that one wanted to fall out too. Okay, we have the Hermit. What fell out? And the Ace of Wands. I get from these cards that this is a tale, this is a story of intrigue. This is something that is now being illuminated with it's less about what the card means, the Hermit. The path is being illuminated. And see how this wise person has that wand in their hand, and this is just a continuation of that wand. Because this person holds the knowledge. Because an older person, and it doesn't have to be an older person, but I see it as a person, a mature person, a person of wisdom is what I get, that holds the keys to all of this. And if you want to know more, you need to go to that person, because that person can reveal a whole lot more than what's out here. That person has supernatural abilities. If you want to know more, you need to ask that person. Okay? I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for stopping by The Humble Seer. As always, you take good care, and we'll talk soon. Bye.